comments on this particular place.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Jackson. Right, so agree by general affirmation the minutes of the previous meeting held on 17th of October 2024 that have been circulated. Are members happy that I sign those as a true record?
Agreed.
Thank you very much. Item 5, to consider any items that the chairman agrees to take as urgent business. I have none. So we move on to the substantive part of the agenda. Item 6, members will be aware that this item has been withdrawn, and just for the benefit of people watching in, this has been withdrawn because there was a fairly late query from the fire service about the water capacity on the site. So this has gone back to the developer to be discussed with them, and in all likelihood will be coming back to committee at a later date. And so move on to item 7, DM23 2039, Friday Ad Limited's London Road, Sayers Common, Sussex, West Sussex, BN 69HS, and I will ask Joe Swift to make his presentation, please.
Thank you, Chairman. We have no updates today, so I'll just take. So the application is seeking full planning permission to demolish the existing FM House building and develop a new Porsche Centre for the sale and service of motor vehicles. The proposal will include a workshop, parts storage, office accommodation and MOT testing facility. The application site is identified here with the red outline. The existing site contains, I say, 2 buildings. The southern building is an office building. It is linked with a first floor walkway to the northern building, which was I believe, a printing press building. And as we can see on the aerial photo, gives a good demonstration of how it appears on site. Members will note that there is good screening to the site along the southern, western and northern boundaries of the site. The proposal is seeking to utilise the existing access point, and there is a secondary access as well to the site to the north. The site has been vacant now for a number of years, and the proposal is looking to bring this back into use for a commercial purpose. To the western rear of the site is the Hicksted Park Homes, while the southern boundary beyond the vegetation joins onto open countryside. Along the north of the site is the access to the Hicksted Park Homes, as well as Strood's Farm beyond the north. And as we can see along the right-hand side is the A23 with the road along the front, which is the A23 slip road. The block plan here shows a clear comparison of the existing building and the proposed footprint of the building. There is an actual increase of 670 square metres of built floor space. However, as the proposal is all being set within one building, it does mean that it allows for the building to be pulled away from the southern, western and northern boundaries, although will be becoming slightly further forward to the eastern front of the site. The proposal will be improving the existing access to the south of the roundabout, while upgrading the current fire access as an exit only. Both of these accesses will be provided with footpath access, and following consultation with West Sussex County Council Highways and National Highways, they've raised no objection to this proposal subject to recommended conditions. Here we can see the landscaping plan. The proposal is seeking to retain the screening along the southern, eastern and northern boundaries, with the pond to the north also remain kept as it is, as this is potential for great crested newts, and in line with the ecology comments, seeking to retain that to protect that habitat. The plan does show that there will be some manicured lawn and shrub planting at the main entrance area. This will allow better views into the site and open up the main entrance. Following comments from the design review panel, the planting towards the exit only, the secondary access, that's been changed to more naturalistic planting in line with their comments. And as we can see here from the planning layout, the red circles, as identified on the plan, these are all EV charging points, the majority of which will be 22 kilowatt EV charging points, but just to note that the three located just inside the entrance are also 320 kilowatt charging points for fast charging. Cycle parking is located to the north of the building, and that also includes a 2 kilowatt e-bike charging point. The customer car parking is going to be located to the east front of the building. They'll have a section to the south for pre-owned cars for sale, and a section here will be for demonstration cars, while the rest of the parking around the western and northern part of the building will be staff parking and for customer vehicles in for servicing and repairs. In terms of the internal layout of the building, the southern part of the building, identified in the lighter colour, is going to be the car sales and office space. There will be a parts storage, and the majority of the northern part of the building will be the car workshop. Just to show you a comparison in terms of the existing elevations, this is of the eastern elevation and the southern elevation. And here we can see the proposed front and rear elevations. The proposal is considered to have an attractive contemporary design. As part of the planning process, the scheme has been to the design review panel, and there was no general concerns raised in relation to the architectural and scale of the building. Recommendations were made on the planting and enclosing the rear ramp, which have been done through the process, and the council's designer has confirmed that they have no further comments to make on this. The design, like the internal layout, is split into two main sections. The car sales area is located with the lighter grey cladding and a large amount of glazing, and the workshop is located with the darker cladding with a living wall separating the two elements. Here we just have the southern elevation and northern elevations of the building. There is a small workshop proposed to the northern elevation as a wash bay as part of the proposal. And the next two slides are just visualisations of how the building could appear on site. The first one here is an aerial photo showing a view taken from the southeast, similar to the photo I showed earlier of the existing site. And the next photo here is just from the southeast, but taken from road level to show how the entrance will open up to provide views into the site. And finally, we have some photos for context. The first one is from standing in the entrance, looking northwest into the site. You can see in the background the existing office building. The next photo is looking along the eastern front of the warehouse building. The third photo we have here shows the link between the two. And the last photo is taken from the western rear looking south. These next set of photos here, this is looking east through the fire access, the current fire access is going to be upgraded to an exit only. The next photo looks north along the eastern front boundary with the A23 beyond. And the final photo here is just looking west on the northern part of the site. The pond is located in this area that I'm identified with the mouse. The main reasons are set out within the report, but just to summarise, the proposal will bring back into use an existing employment site that has remained vacant for a number of years. The proposal is considered to be an appropriate design and scale, as in keeping with the existing use of the site and the wider landscape character. The proposal will be providing 70 full-time jobs, and it is not considered that the proposal would significantly impact on neighbouring amenities of the dwellings to the rear of the site, and we've not had any objections raised from any of the consultees. The application is therefore recommended for full planning permission to be granted, subject to the conditions listed in Appendix A and the completion of the unilateral undertaking to secure the travel plan monitoring fees. We also have a recommendation B, that it is recommended that if the applicants have not submitted a satisfactory signed unilateral undertaking securing the travel plan monitoring fees by the 14th of February 2025, then permission should be refused at the discretion of the Assistant Director for Planning and Sustainable Economy for the following reason: as the application fails to comply with policy DP21 of the Mid-Sussex District Plan and the requirements of the MPPF to promote sustainable transport modes. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Joe. Well, the members that visited the site on Tuesday, we've seen a site that's very much in need of some development, and it will create, I think, 20 additional jobs over the existing site. The other thing you could clarify, please, sir. I understand that the electric power points will be available to the public when the facility is closed. Is that correct?
So obviously you can see from the two lines here that there is a barrier here. So obviously they will be able to close the car park up at night. Obviously there will be security reasons that they won't want people going in, but they do have these free charging points to the front of the site that could potentially be accessed without the requirement for the wider site to be open.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, I open up to discussion to members. Councillor Kennedy.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick point, Joe. You mentioned that a lot of the trees surrounding the site will be retained. I may have missed it, but on the western boundary, which separates the site that's to be developed from the housing, as it were, behind it, that's all to be retained as well, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. I'm quite supportive of the application.
Are there any other councillors that wish to make any comments? Yeah, Councillor Bates.
Yes, well, it's very useful to have a site visit and see the existing building. It's wishful thinking to think that it could have been utilised for this new use, but there you are. We're going to get a new building. The one thing that concerned me was when I exited the site, although there was a very low sun, it was very difficult to view the oncoming traffic, but on the other hand, it was going at a hell of a rate because they were trying to get out onto the A23 on that slip road, and I thought, could there be a possible incident there with the use of the site in the future? So I wondered if it could be looked into.
In regards to the visibility display of the northern exit only, they have shown that they will be able to achieve 2.5 by 100 metre visibility display from that exit, and following consultation with West Sussex Highways, they consider that as an acceptable distance. I appreciate that obviously cars are speeding up as there is the A23 beyond, but in terms of the highway safety perspective, that is considered a suitable distance to address that concern of that speed.
Thank you. Councillor Prescott.
Thank you, Chairman. I find it ironic that you said it within the design statement, this is a good example of modern contemporary architecture, the existing building is a fantastic example of contemporary architecture from about 35 years ago and is extremely well constructed. So I share Councillor Bates' view. It's a shame some of the material or some of the buildings could not have been incorporated into something, because I do think there's a genuine loss there. My question, though, is there's an awful lot of brickwork, a lot of concrete, a lot of hard paving. Is there a requirement that as much of that as possible is used in the existing construction and recycled on site, please? And if not, could that be used as a condition? Thank you.
There wasn't any details of how they were going to reuse the building on site. Obviously, the current construction is quite different to the existing brickwork, so it makes it quite difficult to reuse. We could put an informative on to suggest that they can reuse the brickwork where possible, but it may just be purely for hard standing areas, but quite a lot of it is already hard standing, so there won't be a huge amount of requirement for that other than what is already there.
Councillor Reeves.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I cycled to the site visit, and it's 20 minutes from Burgess Hill, really pleasant, quiet lanes. So I very much hope, I know that people who work in Porsche garages are probably petrol heads, but could they please push this cycle to work scheme, because it is really a pleasant way to get there. And of course, there aren't many buses. So I love the fact that they're leaving most of the screening and the pond, the back boxes. I think that's great. The EV charging points, even for bikes, and the rapids at the entrance, which will be available for the public. That's all very good news. One doubt I have is, why is there a 2200 curfew? Why is it quite that late? Could it be 2100 for the lights to go off? Thank you.
The curfew was the hours that they had requested. We have consulted environmental protection and they did not raise any concerns of that, so we just conditioned it in line with the hours. One thing it is worth noting is that the current existing history of the site, there is no restriction on hours for that building. So the printing presses could have been running all night long previously. So this current proposal, although the hours are going to that 2200, it is actually a reduction of what the site could be used for if someone was to move in and use it for its existing use. So that's considered acceptable in this regard.
Councillor Jackson.
Thank you, Chairman. I visited this site with the rest of you on Tuesday. This is obviously a site where the building has been not used for a couple of years, and I welcome this as an efficient use of what is designated a commercial site. I also note, of course, they're going to concentrate on the sale and servicing of electric vehicles, which is the future, and therefore I really wish to propose we accept this particular recommendation.
Thank you. Before I seek a seconder, Councillor Avery.
Thank you. One of the main things is the employment benefit of this new facility, actually. And that, obviously, it's been Friday Art closed some time ago, and the new facility will provide new jobs in the area, which is always to be appreciated. I do tend to agree with Councillor Prescott and Councillor Bates at the speaking with my architectural hat on, that it is quite a nice building in the first place, and it's really well constructed, and it's a shame that some of the aspects of that couldn't have been incorporated. But however, I still support the whole thing, and I think that the new design is really nice too. So I think it's a positive thing all round. Thank you.
Councillor Bergreen.
Just one small point. I was given to understand that the last car transporters would come down the A23 and back up. Is that a condition, or was that just a suggestion?
So we have a travel plan condition, condition 28, and so we have a travel plan condition for them to submit details of the travel plan to us. If there is particular concern of how you'd like it done, we can always put an informative on to advise the applicant of the preferred option in relation to the coming in and out of the site. And as part of that, informative number 2 has put details of HGV loads to be secured as part of the travel plan, about the access and egress and parking of site workers, visitors and deliveries coming into and out of the site from the public highway. So there will be details submitted of that we can control. So if it's the preference, we can obviously look at seeing if that is the way forward.
Thank you.
Councillor Whitaker.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I had the pleasure of visiting the existing Porsche premises on the Burgess Hill Industrial Estate when our 3 business associations from our 3 towns met earlier this year, which was an excellent event. And the management was saying that they wanted to expand. I'm delighted that obviously they are expanding. I think they're going from a lease premises to obviously a purchase site. So, we're keeping the employment. It's probably an exemplar application. I think it's just fully policy compliant. So I second the recommendation to accept, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Whitaker. So if no other members wish to speak, we have a proposer, we have a seconder. Could we move to the vote, please? Right, the vote is now closed. It's 11 in favour, none against, no abstentions. So that is carried. So for the benefit of people watching online, I will repeat the recommendations that full permission be granted subject to conditions listed in Appendix A and to the completion of the unilateral undertaking securing the travel plan monitoring fees. Recommendation B, it is recommended that if the applicants have not submitted a satisfactory signed unilateral undertaking securing the travel plan monitoring fees by the 14th of February 2025, then permission be refused at the discretion of the Assistant Director of Planning and Sustainable Economy for the following reasons. The application fails to comply with policy DP21 of the Mid-Sussex District Plan and the requirements of the MPPF to promote sustainable transport modes. Right, we have no items recommended for refusal, so move on to item 7, questions pursuant to Council Procedure Rule 10.2, due notice of which has been given. I have had none. So I'd like to thank members and officers for their attendance and declare the meeting closed at 12:24. Thank you very much. 2:24. Sorry, 2:24 to 12. Yeah, sorry, 2:24. Right, thank you very much, everybody.